this responsible for Democrats to put him at the top of the ticket, given those concerns?
Responsible. I revere his record. I mean, what he's done in 3 years has been a masterclass. Close to 15 million jobs. That's 8 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents combined. The economy is booming. Inflation is cooling. It's 0.6% more than it was in the summer of 2020. It's just 3.1%. Wait a second. We have American manufacturing coming back home, all because of Biden's wisdom, because of his temperance, his capacity to lead in a bipartisan manner, which is an underrepresented point. And so I have great confidence moving forward. So the answer is absolutely all in terms of the next 4 years of Joe Biden.
These voters, though, are not complaining about his record. They're talking about concerns about his ability to beat Trump, who you've called a threat, essentially, to the democracy. But in private, we've heard a lot of his allies say publicly. In private, he is strong. He's in command. Yeah. He's forceful. Does he need to do more to show?
I think he's doing everything he needs to do. I mean, he's got an extraordinary record. He's doing everything he needs to do on Ukraine at the moment. He's doing everything he needs to do to reconcile and wrestle some common sense as it relates to a bipartisan approach to address the issue of the border, where the Republicans couldn't take yes for an answer because they don't want to make that a political issue. He is leading. And so, no, from my humble perspective, not only the last 3 years have been extraordinary. I've been out with, as you know, on the campaign trail. I was just out in California. I've seen him up close. I've seen him from far. But here's my point. It's because of his age that he's been so successful. It's because of the wisdom and the character that's developed over years that we have the CHIPS and Science Act, the Infrastructure Bill, and the PACT Act, and the Safer Communities Act. And because we've seen these bipartisan accomplishments because of his capacity.
So I think, Gavin Newsom aside, these Sundays have been full of the normal rhetoric that I think they get a message from Trump HQ, say this, say that. There is a reason why Trump HQ issues it. It's the art of distraction. That's what's really going on, because there are 2 big hurdles and issues that Trump has that I don't think he's going to be able to get over successfully. First of all, he owes a few dollars. In fact, what is it? It's almost 500 million. All right, it's got to find that pretty damn quick, because the interest is growing, and A.G. James is literally making sure that everybody knows how much interest daily is accruing. And then there is the Melania in the background, who clearly isn't happy about so many different things, and the rumors surrounding Mar-a-Lago is that she wants out. She has just had enough. Now, there may be some prenup, there may be some arrangement, but she wants out. I just think the reason Trump stays in the race is the only way he can raise money. Comes out of the race broke. How's he going to pay for everything? Yeah, really? Because obviously the MAGAs are sending him money. What happens after the election if he doesn't win? Yeah, and the way Nikki Haley is going on at the moment, she clearly has an insight into something. The Republican vote is split down the middle. So all of this nonsense on the Sundays, and I have to say, Meet the Press at times might as well be based in the Republican HQ. It is nonsense.
Yeah, go Trump! I know.
Right? This is all about Trump's finances, and the suspicion is that he's broke. There's the question. Comment section now. Is Trump broke? Yes or
in South Carolina, the president was really just enjoying himself. It was a great celebration for black conservatives across our country. But let's be very clear. Our economy is a mess. Our border is completely unsecured. These things are causes of major concerns for black voters, like it is for every voter in our country. But then when you layer on the fact that, yes, this is political persecution from the Department of Justice and from radical DAs throughout our country, this is something similar that black people had to deal with the justice system themselves. And so their look of it is real simple. Well, dang, if the government's going after him with foolishness, he can't be that bad, especially considering the fact that Joe Biden is terrible at his job.
Congressman, let's just be clear. All 4 indictments against former President Trump were brought by grand juries. There is no evidence that the indictments are political in nature. But let me stick to the question here. Let me get you to respond to Biden campaign co-chair and former Congressman Cedric Richmond, who said this this about his comments. Donald Trump claiming that black Americans will support him because of his criminal charges is insulting. It's moronic, and it's just plain racist. How do you respond to that charge, that it's just plain racist?
What I would say is that Cedric is trying to play politics and use racial politics even now as we get into the general election. That's one. Number two, like I said at the top, the number one reason why minority voters in our country want to support Donald Trump is because he did the job of president. He did a great job as president. Our country was secure. The economy was great. These are all things that Donald Trump talked about Friday night. He also did talk about the indictments. What Americans don't want to see, especially black Americans and anybody else, they don't want to see a politicized Justice Department. They don't want to see a two-tier system of justice. They want justice to be followed. They want Lady Justice to be blind. That's what the American people want. That's what black voters want. That's what everybody wants.
Again, there's no evidence that the indictments against him are politicized. But sticking to this question, were you offended at all by his comments, Congressman?
No, I wasn't, because I understood what the president was talking about. And like I've said now for the third time, he talked about all the reasons why minority voters want to support him. And, Kristen, let me push back a little bit. You have to acknowledge the fact that now that the Robert Hur report has come out about Joe Biden's misuse of classified information, which is a violation of the Espionage Act, he had no rights to any of those documents when he was a senator or vice president. Yet there are no charges against President Biden. But President Trump is under prosecution. Come on now. We know that doesn't make any sense at all.
I have to hit the pause button for 1 minute, Congressman, because the Hur report was very clear that there was not enough evidence to bring charges against President Biden, and that ultimately there was not enough. That is what the Hur report said. Congressman, that is exactly what the Hur report said. Yes, it is. It said that there wasn't
Act is clear.
There wasn't enough evidence to bring
You cannot possess those documents as a senator or a vice president. You have no right to those documents as a senator or a vice president. They must remain in a secure facility. Joe Biden took them from a SCIF. That's a violation of the Espionage Act, period.
Okay, all right. Bottom line, though, Hur himself said there wasn't enough evidence to bring charges. Let's move on to this next.
I think I probably would have been out of the race a long time ago. But I want to say, a very special man. I really do mean it. So many people have such great respect for him, and you're very lucky to have him in the state. Tim, please, say a few words.
Hello, South Carolina! The longer I speak, the less you hear of him. So let me just ask one survey question, and you better answer it loud and clear. Is South Carolina Trump country?
Thank you very much, Tim. Really great job. Amazing. Another man, not a lot of people know him. He doesn't do too much television. He happens to be a little bit further left than some of the people on the stage. But I always say, when I'm in trouble on the left, I call up Lindsey Graham, and he straightens it out so fast. And I'll tell you, no, remember. I love him. He's a good man. Come up here, Lindsey. Come up here, Lindsey. Come here.
Okay, are you ready? America,